It may be midsummer here in England, but for me, it's Christmas, because look what I just got delivered. This, of course, is the mBooster Active Pedal by Moza, and well, this was kind of the whole reason that I went with Moza in the first place. It's been on back order for 3 months. It's finally arrived, so I am super, super excited. Let's open her up and see what we've got. Okay, so I am a little bit limited for space here. This is not exactly a recording studio, but I'm gonna try and, get this the right way around first. I'm gonna try my best to show you what's in the box before we get it on the rig and test it. One thing I will say, it's heavy. It's a heavy old box. Right, excuse me. The usual foam packing by Moza. Also the usual stickers, instruction book in there as well. Lovely, lovely. We've got, what's this? This I think is the power pack. Wrapped in this strange kind of plastic stuff. Yep, this is the, so that's fairly meaty old power pack there that you get given for it. It's 240, is it 240 volt? 240, 100 to 240 VAC. Okay, but yeah, I mean that's pretty chunky. I've got the Moza R12, and I think that's pretty much the same size as the Moza R12 power pack. So looks like it's gonna pack some punch. Okay, what's this here? Box. Ooh, that sounds like tools. Yep. It's, well, you've got your kettle plug, kettle lead there that feeds into the power pack. We've got, that's the connection lead to connect it to, I guess, the wheelbase and whatnot. Just the usual, I forget what they're called now, but you know, internet type cables. USB connection lead by the looks of what's in here. Yep, USB cable and whatnot, more connecting leads. And like I say, tools I won't open these. More Allen keys. I have so many Allen keys. If anybody wants some, I can almost use them for currency. I've got so many right now, it's ridiculous the amount that you get given by GT Omega and Moza. They seem to get about 5 with each new thing that you get, so tons of those. So now, the main event. And this, oh, like I said, is very heavy. I can barely, I don't know how heavy that is. It must be 4 or 5 kilos at least. But this is the main event in the usual Moza sort of fabric bag there, which is quite nice, but I'm not sure I've now got about 6 of them as well. But here we go. That's what she looks like. Let's get the box out of the way. Now, and it is a big old thing. I do quite like the design of it, I have to say. I know some others that don't particularly, but I kind of like the sort of, almost looks like a sort of mini rocket ship or something, but okay. So that's a little bit grainy there. Not that it's plugged in, of course, but there's already some weight to that brake, or to that pedal. I'm going to use it as a brake pedal, but you can use it as a throttle or a clutch. I guess you could buy 3 if you're made of money and have all 3 on your rig. But that's where obviously the USB connects. We connect it to the throttle, connect to the base, the clutch, where the power connects on that side as well. But yeah, it looks very, very nice. It's very, very big. It's quite long. You have to order an extension to your wheelbase, to the usual CRP2 wheelbase, and that is a little bit of an issue, I think. I'll take you down into this sort of the bowels down to the floor, and we can look at the wheelbase and how it's going to mount. And you'll probably see, well, I hope you immediately see what the issue is. So without further ado, let's get this bad boy mounted onto the rig and see how it goes. I'll meet you down on the floor. Welcome to the floor, and hopefully you can see the issue that I was talking about. I fitted already the extension plate that you need to fit for the mBooster pedal, and as you can see, it hangs a significant way. I mean, that's what, a good 6 inches, maybe a little bit more, off the back of the plate that it's mounted to on the rig. Now, there is a little bit of a flex there already. It's quite solid, but my real issue is, I mean, the original pedal plate already hangs about 1 inch off the back, which, you know, is not really a problem so much, but it is only mounted by the bolts at the front. So for me, that's going to put a lot of stress on those 2 bolts over time. I think in the short term, it's not too much of a problem, but it's going to stress those bolts there, and there is some flex. So I'm wondering whether I'm going to need to brace this somehow. I don't know. We'll see. All I can do for now is mount the pedal. So that is exactly what I am going to do, and I will see you back at the rig to test out my first go of the Moza mBooster active pedal. Exciting stuff. Well, it was exciting for me anyway. Hello everyone, this is VoiceOver Dave, and this is just a little time lapse of me removing the old brake and fitting the mBooster pedal. Didn't take me too long, about an hour all told, I think, to remove the old brake and get the new one on. Oh, lovely shot of my grey hairs there, fantastic. So yeah, I did at first try and do the whole removal of the old brake and fitting the mBooster pedal with the pedal tray still attached to the pedal plate. I quite quickly realised, despite the fact that taking out the bolts and stuff was fairly straightforward, I couldn't quite get my fingers underneath to do all the wiring, and actually to do all the wiring properly you needed to remove the pedal tray from the pedal plate completely. So that's what I'm doing now. Okay, old brake off. And yes, there you go, old pedal removed, a little bit of a rub down on the pedal tray there, and then on it was with the mBooster pedal. I've just turned to the instruction manual here, and apparently there are 2 mounting options. There's a simple installation and there is a standard installation. You can actually mount the mBooster without the extension plate. By the look of it, it does actually mount just to the normal plate. So obviously the extension plate is kind of an optional extra. So perhaps my trepidation about it hanging so far off the back isn't going to be so much of an issue. Isn't it amazing what you find out when you read the instruction manual? So yeah, there's the mBooster pedal going on there. Like I say, this was all pretty straightforward stuff, if I'm being honest with you. I'm still not happy with the mounting solution, despite what I discovered in the instruction manual. I still think there are issues, and I'm still finding it a little too much flex in the pedal for my liking. But here we go. This is just wiring everything up, making sure everything's connected to the right place. This is all pretty straightforward. There are little grooves that run actually underneath the pedal tray there, so obviously Moza have thought about this in the design of the pedal tray. You can run all the wires through those grooves, and all the wires are actually pretty much perfect lengths to come out of through those grooves and out through the right holes, and then to plug into the right part of the system. So all very good, all very easy. No problems mounting this whatsoever, even for a DIY pleb like me who quite often really struggles with these things. Little bit fiddly some of this, but I wouldn't call it in any way difficult. You know, just awkward and fiddly, but once you find the right spanner, the right tool for the job, everything went on quite comfortably, no problems at all. This then is what the mBooster mapping software looks like within the Moza Pithouse software. As you can see, there is an awful lot of customization you can do to this thing. Similar kind of things to what you can do with the wheelbase settings. Really, end stops, natural friction, natural damping. You've got the different curves there that you can set up. Different effects within here as well, engine vibrations and whatnot. I have tried to do like tests of these. I can't feel anything. Oh, can I? Maybe I can feel something coming through the pedal. What if I do ABS? No. I mean, the pedal itself does have an interesting kind of hum, a whir to it. And if I just click onto the sports car setup here, when I press the pedal in there, I don't know if you can hear that or not, but there is a definite graininess and scratchiness, at least just when I'm in the software right now, which is a little bit disappointing. I was hoping it would be a bit smoother than this. Maybe when you get into the game it does smooth things out, I'm not sure. But yeah, there's a whole lot of customization you can do, you know, changing the weight of the pedal, the travel of the pedal, everything. There's also got these presets down here. If I stick the Formula 1 preset on, hopefully you can see on the pedal cam there, that's not even 50% force, and that's about 72%, 74% I'm getting there. That's 105 kilos. That's incredibly heavy. And if I switch it back to the sports car, which is the opposite end of the spectrum, that's just 48 kilos. It's much longer travel, as you can see, and it's much easier to press. So these are the presets. There's a hypercar preset there, which is quite heavy, but it's far more linear on there. And again, you can customize all of these. These are just presets, and then you can customize within them, just like you can on the wheelbase or on any wheelbase. So interesting stuff. I'm not gonna faff around with these settings at all, actually. I'm kind of gonna just use the out of the box settings. The Formula 1 one I'm not going to use at all yet, because that is just far too firm. I mean, I suppose I could put that down to maybe 65 kilos or something like that. Does that change the... Yeah, there you go. So there's bit more travel in there now. So even very, very customizable. Changes it on the fly. You can feel the changes happening within the pedal. It's quite incredible, really. So far, so good on the software. I like it. This is, you know, you can really play around with this. I mean, you can see actually how sensitive it is just here. I was literally just resting my foot there, barely touching it. So it's incredibly sensitive. Yeah, let's load up a game and take it for a bit of a test drive. I'm really, really, really keen to see how this thing feels within a game. Okay, coming up to our first big braking zone then, let's see. Okay. Yeah, there's definitely something coming through the pedal there. It's actually quite difficult to discern what's coming from the wheel and the pedal. Maybe what I actually need to do is turn the force feedback off through the wheel. Choose any engine effect, or any effects at all actually coming through the pedal at the moment. If it is, it's very subtle. Whoops. Right, this is the big braking zone, so I mean, it has to be said right now, I'm not thinking wow. I'm not thinking this is life-changing. Maybe I just need to tweak the setups a little bit, but I said I'm not getting the force of the brake itself is good. And the one thing about the old analog pedal that I've just taken off is that the elastomers in it were starting to go a little bit spongy, and I was feeling more pedal travel than I would like. Because this is obviously digital, that's never going to be an issue, you would hope. But yeah, I was expecting to be able to feel a bit more, so maybe I just need to dial stuff up a bit. Definitely getting plenty of ABS through the wheelbase, but not really feeling much of those in-game effects, the roads, the ABS, PC. Let's see, the intensity is quite... Let's just ramp up the intensity of everything, I guess. Let's just whack everything up and see if that makes any difference. Doesn't really feel any different to me, I have to say. I think all the effects I was feeling were actually coming through the wheel and just being transferred through the rig. Ah, no, there's something. Okay. There's a definite rumble there. Yeah. Okay, so I'm getting the ABS effect. Definitely there. Definitely. I think I was maybe getting it slightly before, but now it's, yeah. Now it's there. Whack up the intensity of everything to 100% and to see what happens. Okay, so I'm not really getting any road effect. The ABS effects are there. But you know, I would expect to feel something when you run over the curbs there. Not really. Yeah, the ABS effects are good though. Maybe you have to tweak the frequency a little bit. I feel like I can maybe brake a bit later than I have been. We'll have to see what it does to lap times. Let's turn the ABS off and see if we can feel that lock-up effect. Yep, that's there. That's definitely there. Yeah. But now what I can't feel, I can feel it through the wheel, but not through the pedal. Is the flat spot. Which again, I would have expected to be able to feel a little bit through the pedal, as a track effect or something, but... We'll maybe have to tweak around with some settings and come back to this. See if we can get a bit more feel out of the pedal. So we're 2 days on. As you can see, I've had a shave and my monthly change of t-shirt. And I've been living with the pedal now for that couple of days, testing it out, trying to get things where I want it. So what's the conclusion? Is it a game changer or is it a gimmick? Well, the slightly disappointing conclusion might be that it's potentially both. But let's start with the good, shall we? The good of this pedal, in fact, potentially the great of this pedal, is how customizable it is. I think it has a really good feel, but you do have to dial that feel in a little bit. I've got a setting now that I'm fairly happy with, certainly for when I race hypercars and LMP2s. And you can really get the pedal, certainly in the terms of the weight and the travel of the pedal, exactly where you want it to be. And of course, it's customizable potentially infinitely across a whole range, and you can set it up for different cars, even different tracks if you want to. That part of the pedal works really, really well. It works well within the software, as we saw as well. I think the software is pretty straightforward. It's pretty easy to know what affects what, and you can actually feel it in real time affecting the pedals. And that even comes down to the haptics too. You can feel the haptics kicking in and out as you change the sliders to get them as well exactly where you want to. It is, though, in the haptics where I think the gimmick lies. They're not really tied to any telemetry that's coming out of the game. Some of them are, like the ABS and the engine vibrations, also the tire lockup vibrations are kind of linked into the telemetry that's coming out of the game. But to me, that it's on or off. That's the only telemetry that it's bringing from the game. You even have to adjust the frequency of those to match it up kind of to what's coming out of the game. What's coming through the wheel isn't the same as what's coming through the pedal, because what's coming through the wheel is directly linked to the telemetry coming out of the game. So the shake that you feel when the ABS kicks in through the wheel is what's coming out of the game. That's not the case with the pedal. The pedal is just on its own frequency. It knows when the tires have locked up, it knows when the ABS has kicked in, but it doesn't know the frequency that it's happening at. So you just get this kind of random shake to the pedal, which actually is a little bit disconcerting because it is offset from the wheel. And it doesn't just end there. The most disappointing part of these haptics for me is this brake threshold vibration setting. Now, this is a potentially very powerful setting because it tells you, or it's supposed to tell you, that the wheel is right on that verge of locking up. You get a vibration right at the point where the tires start to under rotate and lock up. Now, the problem with this is there is no telemetry from the game that is actually feeding this. This is just something that you have to set up completely manually. There is actually an article on the Moza website that tells you how to do this, and in this it says basically you run some laps, get your tires up to temperature, and then a particularly hard braking zone like bus stop at Spa or the first corner of Fuji, something like that, you basically induce your tires to lock, and as you feel them start to lock, you hold it there, and then that basically sets this trigger input level, or trigger input lever as it's actually called within the software. Now, the problem with setting this trigger input level is that it's very arbitrary. That, you know, it's going to obviously change from car to track, but it's going to change from corner to corner on tracks as well. It's going to potentially change in the same corner depending on how you load the tires up. How the tires are loaded at any one time is going to affect that. So I won't say that this makes this pointless, because it's actually good to kind of just set this to, like, I've got it here just to 70%. I know when I've hit that 70%, and I know where my brake force is. It gives me some clue or some trigger, as it were, as to where my braking force is. So it is still useful, but it's not anything like as useful as it could be if it was actually taking the telemetry out of the game. So this is where I think this mBooster pedal is a little gimmicky right now. All of this haptic stuff is a bit analog in a digital world. It's useful to a point, and it's interesting to play around with these, and maybe you could dial them into a point where you like them, but for me, most of this kind of just interferes. So, I mean, do I like it? Overall, yeah, it's better than the analog pedal that I took off. I like the brake feel, and I like how you can really dial it in. I feel like I'm starting to get there with it, and it does, even without the haptics, make your braking more accurate. But it's not the game-changing wow that I thought it might be. And that's a little bit of a disappointment for something that costs £800. I want to be wowed. So what do you think? Have you bought the mBooster pedal? Am I getting these settings right? Is there something I need to change within these to get these haptics working for me? Maybe you can let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments if you were thinking about buying an mBooster pedal. Are you still thinking about getting one? And of course, subscribe, give me a like if you've enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers, guys.